welcome from the Auto.AI in Berlin. My name is Maria and I'm standing here with Jonas Ekmark from Zenuity. Hello and welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Can you briefly introduce yourself and the role you are having at Zenuity?
Zenuity is a startup, you can say, was started by Volvo Cars and Autoliv in order to focus on software for ADAS and self-driving. So we're a little more than a year old and we are already 600 people. We have offices in Gothenburg, Munich, Detroit, Silicon Valley, and also Shanghai at the moment. So we kind of are across all time zones. And so we develop core software for ADAS and AD, and we deliver that to Volvo Cars and to Veoneer that makes application with it and sells it to OEM customers around the world.
What fascinates you about autonomous driving?
You know, my history is really, my career is really narrow. I started in Volvo Cars in 1994, working with stability control and autonomous emergency braking, and eventually got into automation. And I've always been fascinated with the fact that you can make cars drive safer by electronics, but also now. And that's fantastic. Make them drive by themselves, and that's something that I continue to be fascinated about and will continue to work with.
Have you ever been driven by an autonomous car, and what are your experiences?
Oh yeah, I think the first time was in like 2010 or 11, but that was at a test track, and the first time we went around it was an oval test track, a really easy use case, if you will. So for the first 5 minutes was like, wow, it is finally working. And then we were supposed to drive around for 3 hours, and after 20 minutes you get bored. And so the conclusion was that also that humans are not really good at supervising automation. You quite quickly get used to the automation, and you maybe not in a relevant way, but you believe in it very quickly. And
so your focus shifts and
you start to do other things. Therefore, it is really critical that the automation is safe enough, because once the driver loses the control of the vehicle, then it's up to the automation to drive safely enough.
This is one of the typical challenges we're facing in the industry right now. What are other daily challenges you're facing?
Making it safe enough to put on the road as a product is the ultimate challenge, I think. But I mean, that can be broken down into lots of things with methodology and methods that you use for development, and verification methods and tools, but also the techniques you use in the technology, like the silicon and the operating systems. And there's this safety challenge that really puts pressure on all the parts in the system.
Tomorrow you are presenting a keynote on how Zenuity uses deep learning to solve some of these pressing challenges. Can you share some insights?
Deep learning is fantastic for detecting and classifying things, but it is not reliable.
Okay.
It is very brittle. You can change just some small thing and then the answer is completely different.
Okay.
And so it doesn't go well together with strict safety requirements. The point I'm trying to make tomorrow is that it doesn't need to be a contradiction or a compromise. You can have both the high performance of deep learning combined with the safety you get from other methods if you use them both in your system. So I'm arguing you shouldn't use deep learning only or traditional methods only, but if you combine them, it is it is really something that can solve the problem. It's not solved yet, obviously, but it can solve the problem. It just came from a presentation that argued the same thing. So
okay, then this is good. So we're getting into the thing of mixing and combining methods, like we're also doing in software development a few years ago. Buzzword agile software development. You're using it for developing, of course, your software for these autonomous vehicles. Can you share some insights or explain that a bit?
Yeah, about agile development.
Yes, how it's working together with autonomous driving.
That is also a contradiction, because agile means many things, but it means that you should be able to get feedback from the market quickly in order to adjust your product. And I mean, that doesn't go well with something where safety is the ultimate challenge. So, but I guess that can be handled as well if you use the right methodology. If you try to have agile end-to-end development, you need to combine it with something that works as a replacement for the customer, some kind of feedback loop that is really quick, that gives this agile team the quick feedback it needs to be quick.
What are possibilities to give this feedback, to have this feedback loop? Is it also deep learning or AI, or what are you using or proposing?
That's a little hard to summarize very, very quickly, but essentially we need to use all the methods that we know, like obviously test code for testing modules, but also simulation to a large extent. Another powerful method that we need to use is breaking down the system in pieces and put local requirements on each piece, which is contradictory to Agile in a way, but we need that in order to make it, to embrace the total problem.
So it's a holistic approach with a mix of methods, and then we have an autonomous car that is hopefully safe and sound on the road, and
And you know, hopefully safe is not enough. You should be able to argue in the so-called safety case that this product is safe enough because we have done this and that and that and that.
And because of all the mixtures of methodologies that you are using, it is thought of from every angle and every use case humanly imaginable possible. Hopefully.
We need to put in a cocktail of the methods that we know about and use them wisely in order to come to a safety case that really proves that the product is safe enough. And I mean, brute force testing, like driving 1 billion kilometers before launch, would perhaps be sufficient, but it isn't practical. We cannot do it. So we need to break down the problem in smaller pieces and then verify each of the pieces and then argue that we have put them together in a way that makes them safe on a total level.
What is your wish for autonomous driving and autonomous vehicles in the, let's say, next 5, 10 or 50 years?
I think the ultimate goal is to save all the suffering and the deaths that are going on. It is much too widely accepted that we have 1.4 million killed each year in road transportation in the world, but also like 30,000-40,000 in the EU and in the US. That's not necessary. That's not, it's not ethical to have it that way. We shouldn't accept that. And this technology is going to help us to get rid of that. And I think that is the greatest contribution that we can make.
I hope you have a good rest of the conference, and thank you very much.
Thank you too.